get started. Okay, everyone, welcome back to another season of I-SPIE TV. This is the first episode of the fall semester. So just introducing this year's I-SPIE TV crew. We have Priscilla Ortiz from CSU San Bernardino, Chris Lee, of course, from the Chancellor's Office, myself, Natalia from San Marcos, and then we have new member Melita Jackson from CSU Humboldt, and continuing member Donnell Ricciardi from CSU Sonoma. So if you would like to join the I-SPIE TV committee, just you can email us. We're also gonna put a form in the chat that you can use to sign up for some of the committees. So reminders, I-SPIE TV is held every third Thursday of the month, excluding holidays and summer. So we will have a December holiday special that hasn't been scheduled yet because we want to make sure it's not the third Thursday. So it'll be earlier in the month to make sure more folks can attend. And then we usually don't have a show in January and we resume in February. A reminder about the resource sharing report form on the wiki. Please, if you have issues with Unity, if they're arriving late, too early, or they're not showing up, please use the form to report those issues. And Chris, I think you can report other issues as well, right?
Yep, you can put in stuff that you want me to submit to Salesforce or any other kinds of issues as a way of contacting me and let me know that something's not working right.
Great. And then communication channels, the Slack channels that we have that you may want to join if you're not already in those is the Rapido Slack channel, the resource sharing Slack channel, then there's the general, which you'll see folks from all different areas in the CSU on that channel. And then we have the new West Coast resource sharing courier channel. So you can chat about courier issues with those. I think who's on that is St. Mary's was added, and who else? Was anyone else, Chris?
Lori from Orbis Cascade is on that channel as well. Also, people looking into potentially joining it have been invited, who were at the what conference? It was a conference a few weeks ago. I'm blanking on it. ECOG. So some of the UC campuses have been invited to it, and representatives from the California State Library who are also looking into that, joining that group.
Okay, very good. And then so we did have sign up forms at the I-SPIE conference for several committees. The I-SPIE TV committee, we're trying to get a web committee together up and running again. We have a WordPress site for I-SPIE, but it hasn't been updated in quite a while. But it has ads on it, but I believe the Chancellor's Office has agreed to pay for a non-ad version. So if you have WordPress experience or any experience, or you just want to learn more about creating websites, I've used WordPress and it's pretty simple to use for a non-programmer person. So if you have any interest in that committee, Chris is putting in the chat the forms. So for the committee sign-up form, there's the I-SPIE TV committee, web committee, and the I-SPIE 2024 conference planning committee. Those are the three committees that you can sign up for. And then if you're interested in hosting, Chris sent out that form this week, and he also just put it in the chat. It's not a commitment to host. It's just that you're willing to ask your dean and explore the possibility of hosting. So if you want I-SPIE to be held at your campus, please fill out your information in that form. And if you have more questions about hosting too, you can always reach out. Probably to Chris would be the best person to reach out to if you have questions, or if your management dean has questions about hosting or concerns. Chris can definitely answer those questions. So hopefully we can get someone signed up to host pretty soon. And then next, announcements. So you'll see on the screen your new resource sharing functional committee for the 2023-24 committee cycle. We have our chair, Priscilla Ortiz. She's on vacation today, but she always attends these. And Chris Lee, of course, as the Chancellor's Office rep, Sarah Larson from Northridge, Astrid Gleason from Sacramento, Debbie Blair from San Marcos, Rosemary Farr from Fullerton, and Mark Stackpole from Maritime Academy. And then another announcement, the NERS Open Forum will be September 26th at 10 a.m. So please be sure to be there for that. And then we wanted to give a big congratulations to Christina Hennessy for her new position at the Chancellor's Office, taking over Brandon's old position. And Chris, do you happen to know the title of her position?
She is the director of the
Director of
Library
NOMAS, that's right.
Management System.
Yeah, it says it right there. So do we know what committees she's going to be on? ULMS committees? Probably the same ones as Brandon.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can have Christina on perhaps next episode to talk a little bit about herself. All right, so let me move on to our next segment. Just give me 1 second.
What's the NERS Open Forum?
It's to ask questions about the different enhancements you can vote on for the NERS enhancements. It's so you can ask questions and get information from the Resource Sharing Functional Committee. We'll also be sharing, they'll be sharing their recommendations of what they think are good items to vote for as well.
Thank you.
Great. All right, so next up, we're going to have a download from the CEO from Chris Lee.
Sharing my screen. All right, so hello, I-SPIE. I would like to update you all on a few items I've been working on and are currently working on, and some developments coming out of the CSU Chancellor's Office. All right, so first of all, I also want to congratulate Christina Hennessy on her position as the Director of the Unified Library Management System. Christina is a big friend and supporter of I-SPIE. She volunteered to help plan the last conference and even gave a lightning round presentation on discovery labels, as well as a full-length presentation on alma letters. I look forward to her officially joining the CO team next week, where she will no doubt bring oodles of enthusiasm and energy. Christina formerly worked at CSU Northridge as their systems librarian and worked with their awesome resource sharing team, pictured here with her, to configure Rapido. In my role in resource sharing, I will work closely with Christina to keep her informed with all things resource sharing, as well as get her input on projects and how they fit in with the rest of the library ecosystem. And she will truly be a great addition to our team, and I'm very excited to start working with her more often. All right. So the next topic was covered extensively at the I-SPIE conference, but unfortunately not everyone was able to attend the conference. So I want to bring you all up to speed with the West Coast Resource Sharing Network, what it is, and where it is going. The West Coast Resource Sharing Network is a joint project between the CSU, SCELC, and Orbis Cascade, although individual libraries and additional library systems are also welcome to join in. Our aim is to create a resource sharing courier route that will connect all our libraries to reduce costs, speed up turnaround times, and give greater access to more materials for our patrons. To take advantage of the courier routes, the network will also use hybrid Rapido pods. In other words, we will configure pods with both Rapido and non-Rapido libraries in the pod. Once the configuration is set up, the request will behave exactly like other Rapido requests, regardless of what system the other library is using. Oh, okay, you can hear me. Okay, good. I just saw that. I was like, oh no. All right. So while saying we want a West Coast courier route is easy, actually doing it is a bit difficult. A big hurdle is that the CSU and Skelk are on Unity, which only delivers to California, and Orbis is on XPAC, which delivers nationwide. We are currently investigating two methods to create the route. The first method is to stay on Unity, but set up a dedicated courier swap location. All bags going to Orbis Cascade will be shipped to this location, and the shipping labels or flip cards will also have an XPAC barcode to send them to the correct end destination. The XPAC driver will pick up these bags and drop off bags coming from Orbis Cascade to the CSU and Skelk libraries. This is a complicated but probably more cost-effective solution. The second solution is to all join XPAC, which ships outside of California. Then we would all be on the same courier system, and it would streamline the process quite a bit. I am working on getting pricing and more information for both models, and I am open to hearing other solutions as well if you have any good ideas. So I'm also currently working on setting up the pods to go with the courier route. The main pod for libraries already on the same courier, and a secondary pod for libraries in the process of joining the courier, but who want to start sharing with each other immediately. The first pod is alive. It currently only contains the CSU and St. Mary's because we are all on the same Unity route. Several additional Skelk libraries are working things out with Unity in their library budgets, and I hope they will get on this route and pod very soon. Eventually, the aim is for all of Skelk, the CSU, and Orbis to be on this pod. The UCs have also been invited to join, and anyone else in California and the West who wants to join on this is more than welcome. The second pod is for libraries not on the courier yet. These libraries may eventually be on the courier, but they want to start sharing ASAP. Several Orbis libraries who are not currently on Rapido are looking into the setup of this pod, and the California State Library is also interested. This will help us share with libraries in the West before requesting from libraries back east. Orbis Cascade has asked for a list of libraries wanting to join in this pod. I encourage everyone to sign up, but since it involves shipping outside the courier, it is ultimately up to you. I am working on a form that I plan on sending out to everyone this afternoon, indicating if you want to join this closed pod once it becomes live. I will let you all know when there are more developments with this pod. I now want to transition to a new pod many libraries have already joined, the Rapid R pod, previously known as Rapid Returnables. This pod predates Rapido and has members using multiple different resource sharing systems like Rapido or Iliad. It went live before Ex Libris purchased Rapid, but with the addition of Rapido as the main way to process physical requests, this Rapid ILL pod is no longer available to subscribe to for new customers. But existing customers can continue to use the pod outside of Rapido, and they have continued to do so. Over the summer, Ex Libris opened the pod for Rapido libraries. This lets us connect to those libraries who are on other systems. Approximately 40 new libraries that we normally could not share with through other Rapido pods because they're not on Rapido. I recommend any CSU using the US pod to also join RapidR to add 40 additional libraries as partners. all of these libraries are in the US, so there is no international shipping. So, it's all in the US, so no extra charge. Now, there is some issues with RapidR that have proven to be a little bigger than I originally thought. Since RapidR is technically a Rapid ILL pod, it uses the Rapid ILL harvesting sets and publishing profiles to know what items can and cannot be loaned. This is different from other Rapido pods, which use the settings under your members area to designate what areas can be loaned. Now, this causes a few issues that can be fixed or mitigated with some configuration changes. The issues are that the physical book harvesting set may include course reserves locations to let libraries scan books from course reserves for outside libraries. So when we all set up those sets originally, because it was only for articles and book chapters, most libraries said, yeah, let's include course reserves so we can scan from the course reserves. But now it's trying to request physical items from those sets. It's removing the course reserves locations from those sets will prevent requests for the physical copy of the course reserves item, but unfortunately it will also mean you will stop getting requests to scan those items as well. Another issue is that RapidR does not differentiate between the physical books harvesting sets and the electronic books harvesting sets. To RapidR, these are all just books, mainly print books. This leads to requests for physical copies of ebooks. Now, there are two solutions that I can think of to this issue. The first solution is to set the ebook sets and publishing profiles to local only. This will stop lending requests for ebooks, but unfortunately, it will also stop requests for ebook chapters from going to your library. The second option is to make a Rapido set in Rapido, which is very different than a harvesting set, completely different sections of Alma. They need to name them better. But the Rapido set can be made to catch all the physical requests for ebooks, and then you can routinely reject them. Between the two solutions, if I were a higher volume library, I would personally go with the first solution, so you can keep from getting inundated with things you need to manually reject. Although you could try it out and see if it's not too many to reject, you could be a good lender to the community. Instructions for both solutions are on the wiki, and I am also willing to implement the solution of your choice for you if you would prefer I go ahead and do that. I'm currently also updating the Network Zone ebook sets and publishing profiles for a different project, and so I will automatically set them up with the first solution unless a library reaches out to me and asks to do the second one. If you prefer to manually reject ebook requests, but still get ebook chapter requests for items in the NZ, please let me know, and I will make sure to set things up that way for you in the Network Zone. Lastly, I want to remind you all that I am setting up office hours, even though I am not a faculty member at the moment. Every Tuesday from 11 to 12, I will go into the same Zoom room. Anyone is welcome to pop in and ask questions, do some testing, or just chat. I look at it as a virtual version of walking up to a coworker's desk and having a conversation. I'm committing to do this through mid-December to see if there is any interest, and will continue the practice if it proves useful. Feel free to add it to your calendars if you want to pop in. All right, that's it from me. Now on to our next segment. Stop sharing.
Yeah, I probably should have mentioned what our segments are for today, but we start off with a download from the CO, and then next we have Melita Jackson from Humboldt is going to do a recap of the 2023 I-SPIE conference. And lastly, we'll finish up with your favorite game of Who Wants to Be an Illionaire. Looks like Holly has a question though, so we'll go to Holly first.
Hi. I was wondering, Chris, if you could send us that Zoom link, or did you send it to us already?
I sent it in an email yesterday. I'm more than happy to send it out again.
Okay, now you can tell. We just started today, our quarter, and we just started putting things in our locker today for the first time. So I have not been reading any emails, so I apologize that you already sent it. That's it. That was my only thing. And yes, you can ship to us CPS again through the courier. Thank you. Bye.
Good to know. Thanks, Holly, and a good reminder that you can find the link for those office hours in your inbox. All right, so next we have Melita Jackson with a recap of the 2023 I-SPIE conference. So take it away, Melita.
Thank you. I agree. Sorry, can you hear me all right? This is like the first time using this laptop, so I'm just wanting to make sure.
No worries, we can hear you just fine.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so I-SPIE, Melita. Like Natalia said, I work at Cal Poly Humboldt, and let me just share my screen. I met some of you at the I-SPIE conference, but some of you I was not able to meet for whatever reason, but hopefully this will be helpful as a little recap, or for those that don't quite remember, as that was a couple weeks away and we've had semester starting since then, so it's been a whirlwind. Is this showing all right? Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is from Cal Poly Humboldt's perspective of sorts. We did have to do a presentation when we got back from the conference, just as a general thing that our library likes to do. So bear with me if it's a little Humboldt heavy, but yes, the I-SPIE conference of 2023 was at Long Beach this year at the Chancellor's office. We haven't had an in-person I-SPIE conference since 2019, and I believe that was in Fullerton. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And 2020 was supposed to be at San Francisco, but we all know how 2020 ended up. So Cal Poly Humboldt ended up staying at the Hilton in Long Beach, where apparently they have a theme so of ducks, and apparently all Hiltons supposedly do this. We've never stayed at a Hilton before, so this was very interesting. We thought it would be fun to take a little superhero duck and kind of take it with us throughout the conference. And then we were confused just because we had never been to the Chancellor's office before that is a separate office completely from any CSU. So we kind of expected a library or a campus. And so we were pleasantly surprised when we did take a tour through the Chancellor's office, and saw where all policies are made for CSUs. So that was fun. And as a newer resource sharing in this position, I was hired in 2021. My coworker Denise was hired this last year. We weren't sure of the history of I-SPIE, so this last segment that we had before summer break was really nice in terms of the history of I-SPIE. But during this conference, we also learned what I-SPIE stood for, which is Interlibrary Services Partner Information Exchange. So that was really pleasant as well in terms of figuring out what I-SPIE was all about. So we got to meet a lot of you in person, which was really nice, outside Zoom land. So all of these partners came and joined us. Chris ended up doing a segment on Rapido versus Iliad after traveling with Megan Weldon of Ex Libris to visit multiple CSUs and figuring out which one, Rapido versus Iliad, and ultimately found out that both of them are complicated, both of them are easier to use, and everyone just wants one system. This is just a kind of a quick overview of what Ex Libris Rapido has to offer and its workflows. The same with Iliad. Yeah, I think we're all aware of these. And then our thoughts, particularly specifically myself, I know that Iliad is one of the ones that is the first one I worked with when I got hired. Rapido hadn't been implemented yet. And chatting with our student assistants as well as my coworker Denise, I have a student assistant that started about the same time I did, and they prefer Iliad as well. But it's also because it was the first one they learned on. But Denise and our other student assistant both started after Rapido was implemented, and think that Rapido is a bit easier to use and navigate, but they both have their pros and cons. So Ex Libris was there, Megan, and I'm sorry, I totally forgot the other presenter's name just now.
Caitlin O'Malley.
Thank you. Just to kind of do what's coming up, I think we all saw that they did put out a survey this last month, I believe, about what they would like or what we would like to see for the 2024 roadmap. They introduced that they do have over 100 libraries at this point within Rapido. Their 100th library was the Charles Stewart Library at the University of Australia. And they're looking at getting the Linda Hall Library. Yeah. And as Chris mentioned, the West Coast wishes for the Northwest Courier route was discussed. And basically, this is just going to go over briefly what Chris had already mentioned. In terms of the CSUs, this is our route through Unity, and with Skelk, it's added a couple more routes and a couple more libraries that we can effectively send and loan, borrow from within our Unity. So we are a courier system, so we don't have to pay for postage. And then Orbis Cascade has their own routes going from Oregon to Washington and Idaho, or yes. And they are through XPAC. And so this is ultimately what we'd love to see in the future and kind of what the roadmap would look like, particularly if we're talking about the swap. I know it's something that, because Humboldt is the most top red dot there, we were a little concerned in terms of a swap, just because that means more human error in terms of switching from XPAC courier to Unity and sending it off again. It also just means we need a bigger mail room. So, but we'll see how that ends up going. And there were lightning talks in terms of staffing issues, ALMA updates, letters, CSU communications, copyright and labels. I think we had multiple group discussions or breakout discussions where I thought we had some pretty interesting conversations in terms of tracking information, as well as what everyone uses in terms of how to communicate with each other when it comes to, asking questions and trying to figure out if our workflows are where they're supposed to be. So. And then we were able to go on a boat tour sponsored by Ex Libris, which I thought was really fun, and kind of see everyone in a more casual setting. And it was just fun to see a bit more of Long Beach and the harbor there. I have never been to Long Beach before, so this was really fun. And then this is where it gets a little more Humboldt heavy. Our library is always looking at technology at other campuses, but because no offense to the chancellor's office, is not necessarily what we were looking for. So we were able to go to the Aquarium of the Pacific, where they had multiple technologies that we thought were really cool and interactive, and something that we just liked looking at. And so we brought it back to share with our library. So thank you.
Very cool. Thanks, Melita. There's a lot of little details that I missed too, even though I attended the conference. So that was a nice little recap. And then Chrisia, you mentioned that it doesn't necessarily need to be the most northern. If we go that route, we'll need a volunteer. So, or are we talking like we would all be on X, like that we would though move to XPAC? Would there have to be a swap necessarily?
Well, if we all move to XPAC, there wouldn't be a swap because we'd all be on XPAC. So that's option. That's one of the options we're looking for. That would definitely be
Plan A.
streamlined and easiest. If we did end up having to go to the swap version, XPAC did say that they would look into ways of getting the barcodes and shipping labels in a way where we wouldn't need to swap the shipping label. So that it would cut down human error a bit, but it would still be everything goes to this stop and then an XPAC person picks them up. But it would be just, here's their bags, put in the corner, different driver comes and picks them up. So yes. And I am also going to be looking into new and better bags. We definitely would need an influx of additional bags. We should have some additional bags coming in right now. They got delivered to Unity and they I'll check back and see if they've finally sent them out. But yeah, we would be looking at new bags. So
Very good. So if there's no questions or any other comments, we can move on to the really fun part. Okay, so if you are new and have never been at I-SPIE TV during a game of Who Wants to Be an Illionaire, I'm just going to explain how it works. So usually we play for IFLA vouchers. There's usually a campus that sponsors the game by providing IFLA vouchers to the winners. We don't have any sponsor for this game, so you won't be winning any prized IFLA vouchers, but you will still get bragging rights. Kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you the person who is in the hot seat gets 3 lifelines. You can either do 50-50, which is we take out 2 wrong answers. You can phone a friend, so you can call out any audience member and ask them if they know the answer, or there's Ask the Audience, and basically everyone will just type in the chat what they think the answer is, and you can go with whatever the most answers are, and so that's how it works. First, we're going to do a fast finger. So I'm going to ask a question, and the first person to answer the question in the chat will be in our hot seat. So the first question is, what does ISBN stand for? What is it an acronym for? Person can be the fastest Googler. Yes, Melissa. Melissa, that is correct. International Standard Book Number. Okay, Melissa. So when we put you in the hot seat, we do ask you to tell a little bit about yourself. If you have your speaker, if you want to turn on your camera, you don't have to turn on your camera. But Melissa, tell us a little bit about yourself. What campus do you work at? Do you work in ILL? And just a few sentences about yourself.
Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Yes, my name is Melissa. I work at CSU Northridge. I work with the lending side of resource sharing. And yeah, that's me.
Okay, great. So I'm going to pull up the cards here and let's see. Okay, first question, Melissa. Where was the 2023 I-SPIE conference held?
A, final answer.
Okay, are you
Oh
sure?
no, sorry. No, no. I just saw Long Beach. No, C.
C, Chancellor's Office. That is correct.
I was trying to do it too fast.
Okay, hot seat question number 2. Which library was most recently added to the CSU's courier route? A, St. Mary's, B, Pepperdine, C, UC San Francisco, or D, UC Santa Barbara?
A, St. Mary's.
A, St. Mary's, right? Is that what you said? Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm doing the controls and the hosting. So yes, that is correct. St. Mary's. Okay, next question. What is the name of the newly created courier pod? A, West Coast Alliance, B, Western Alliance, C, Left Coast Resource Sharing, or D, West Coast Resource Sharing?
B, West Coast Resource Sharing.
That is correct. Okay, next question. Which person is not a current member of the RSFC? A, Chris Lee, B, Danelle Ricciardi, C, Sarah Larson, or D, Priscilla Ortiz?
That would be C, Sarah Larson.
That is wrong. Sarah is on the RSFC.
Oh wait, I was confusing.
Well, I'm sorry. Which person is not? Sarah is on the RSFC.
Oh, okay.
So that would be, so we'd have to go on to the next
Okay,
person, but
that's
thank
fine.
you so much,
Thank you.
Melissa. Next time we can remember your lifelines.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna do another fast finger. Thanks, Melissa, for participating. You did pretty well. The next fast finger is, what does ALUNA stand for? Anyone? No one wants to be in the hot seat? You can look it up. What does ALUNA stand for? ALUNA, as in the ALUNA conference. Yes, that's correct. Sarah Larson. Okay, Sarah, so you are now in the hot seat. So tell us a little bit about yourself, please. Maybe your mic's muted. We don't hear you.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Okay. I was right next to Melissa when she answered that. I was like, how could you? But I'm Sarah Larson. I'm at Borrowing. I work for Borrowing at CSU Northridge. And I'm excited for this new I-SPIE of the year, or for the semester. So hello, everybody.
All right, thanks, Sarah. All right, so let me get to the correct card here. Okay, question. Which activity did Ex Libris sponsor at the 2023 I-SPIE conference? A, pizza and game night, B, the boat tour, C, lunch, or D, scuba diving?
B, boat tour, final answer.
That is correct. The boat tour, you probably noticed a lot of these questions came from the information that was presented prior to the game. So hopefully you were paying attention, Sarah. Okay, next question. Hot seat number 2. Which program is not used to manage interlibrary loan requests? A, WorldShare, B, Rapido, C, Aliad, or D, Leganto?
B, Leganto, final answer.
Yes, that's correct. And then don't forget about your lifelines if you're unsure about anything.
All right.
Okay, number 3. Who is the current RSFC chair?
Okay. A, Priscilla Ortiz, final answer.
Yes, that's correct. I should have made these questions more difficult. But I think both you and Melissa are really in the know with everything. Okay, hot seat number 4. Ex Libris is a subsidiary of which company? A, ProQuest, B, Clarivate, C, OCLC, or D, Innovative?
B, Clarivate, final
That's
answer.
correct. Okay, hot seat number 5. Rapid ILL was developed after which disaster? A, flood, B, a fire, C, an earthquake, or D, or tornado?
I'm going to use a lifeline for this. I'm going to ask the lovely audience.
Okay, audience members, put what you believe the answer is in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'll go with A, flood. Final answer.
Oh, sorry, wrong button. That is correct. It was a flood. I think there was a big rainstorm. It just destroyed all their collections, or most of their collections. They needed a way to get articles quickly, and so they developed Rapid ILL, and it worked out so well that they marketed it as a product and started selling it. So that is how Rapid ILL was developed, or how it started. Okay, hot seat number 6. What does SCELC stand for? A, Statewide California Electronic Library Consortium. B, System-wide California Exchange Library Consortium. C, Statewide California Electronic Library Coalition. Or D, Statewide Coalition Electronic Library Consortium.
I'm gonna go with D.
You still have 2 lifelines left.
Oh,
2 questions. So if you want to like use them, just to use them to be sure.
yeah, I'll use it. The other
50-50 where I
is...
take away 2 wrong answers, or phone a friend where you pick out a specific person in the audience.
I'll do 50-50.
Okay, so I'm gonna take away 2 of the answers. Hold on just a second. Okay, so A or D?
All right, I'm gonna do A, Statewide California Electronic Library Consortium. Consortium?
Yep, that is correct. Okay, one more question for all the IFLA vouchers. In what year was I-SPIE founded? A, 1993, B, 1990, C, 1992, or D, 1998? So you still have your phone a friend.
I'm looking through the participants right now. They're like, who will I pick? Let's see. I'm going to do phone a friend. And I'm gonna call my trusty lead, Darnisa, if she's here.
Bernice, you can either,
Darnisa, I need your help.
you can either say it out loud or you can put it in the chat.
Oh. Am I able to call Melissa if she's was a previous hot seat member?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
that's fine.
All right. Let me see.
Maybe Bernice how to run. Let's see. So are you selecting Melissa or someone else?
I guess I won't.
Huh?
I'll just guess. Sorry. I
That's
will guess.
okay.
I'm going to go with
Chris might know. You could phone him.
that's almost that feels unfair.
Okay, okay, just give it a guess.
I'm gonna give it a guess. I'll go with D.
Okay,
Oh.
that was wrong.
All
It was
right.
actually B, 1990. But
Can I just say that they're all wrong because I-SPIE was not named I-SPIE, that name, until the conference in San Luis Obispo in 2005 or 6. And I was
oh,
there, and that's when the name was selected and voted on. So that's kind of, you should give her another question. That's my opinion.
okay, okay, yeah, I did not know that. We thought it was, we looked and found that it was 1990, but I didn't realize that the name wasn't that. But I guess Holly would have been a good person to call on. I don't have any other questions, but great job. I think since that we didn't have the right answer, then you are a winner. 10 IFLA vouchers, which unfortunately we don't have any to give you, but hopefully you don't really have a need for them, like most of us.
Sounds all good. Thank you. This was fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, usually Jesse hosts, and I was trying to remember how the game goes because we haven't done it in a while. So hopefully I did it correctly, but if there's any input, let me know for next time, because I guess we haven't been, we recorded this one, but we usually don't record the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I guess next time we can not record it, maybe more people will be interested and want to be in the hot seat.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you both, Sarah and Melissa, for participating. I don't have another game prepared, and that's all we have for today. So if folks, that concludes the meeting, so we can hang out and talk, or call it early and get 10 minutes of our time back for the day. Thanks, everyone.